prototype of Border Shepherd. It was made by an ancient Roman sheepdog. Spitz mixed with Vikings formed the original pellet dog. This pellet dog, later, it was mixed with the genes of the setter. The Shelter is a spaniel. His ancestors. It is a Boeing retriever introduced to the UK from Spain. The fusion of the above canine genes. After artificial cultivation, they became the border collies of today. Now let's revisit these dogs. The specific appearance of the ancient Roman shepherd dog has not been verified, but passed down from the same period, and has a certain blood connection with the Castro dog. To infer, a Roman shepherd should be a tall dog. Large dogs with black or yellow short coat. The Spitz is a slightly smaller, double-haired dog, a long-haired dog with black, white, or yellow fur. These two dogs gave birth to the original pellet dog. It is also black and white or black, white and brown. The world's first border collie, Oldma, also a tricolor edged herd. The fur color of the setter is black or reddish-brown, and it has an overlapping living environment with the pellet dogs. Irish Red, Shetah, mainly white and red, and they have spots. So that's it. The original pellet dog has black, white, and red in its body. The three genes of color. After the genome of the setter is added, its frontier herding brings long hairs and spots with limb modifications. This kind of spot that is prone to appear on the border grazing. It's called the Irish spot. This is also a representative of the classic side herd, and infer from this the appearance of meteorite-colored border herds, genetically influenced by the setter. There are 4 main genes that affect the color of border grazing, and each gene has 2 properties, dominant and recessive. The first gene is the solid color gene. White is the base color of border grazing. So, the solid base colors that affect coating colors are black and red. All other colors, both are diluted in these 2 colors, or evolved from. Black is the dominant gene. Red is a recessive gene. The second type of gene is a dilution gene. Diluted genes dilute black to blue and gray, dilute the brown to clove. And the third is meteorite genes. When the meteor dominant gene comes into play, meteorite colors will appear. Meteorites are a mixed color. The color itself hasn't changed. It just changes the color distribution. The fourth gene is the yellow gene. The yellow gene is a masking gene. When the yellow gene is present, the mother will appear. So the yellow gene is also called the trichromatic gene. From this, it can be deduced that there are 81 theoretical gene combinations in border herding. The theoretical coating color combination can appear 16 kinds. For example, our common black and white border grazing. The coating color combination shows that the solid color gene is dominant. Rare genes are recessive. The mixed color gene is recessive, and the trichromatic gene is recessive. And there are up to 8 possible genetic combinations. A brown and white border herd. Its coating color combination is: the solid color gene is recessive, the rare gene is recessive, and the color mixing gene is recessive. The trichromatic gene is recessive. There are 4 possible genetic combinations, and the coat color combination of a blue and white-sided shepherd is: the solid color gene is dominant, dilution gene is dominant, color mixing gene is recessive. Tricolor genes are dominant. There are 2 possible combinations of genes. In reality, a pure black and white border herd, and its solid color gene is only black gene. It doesn't matter what color it mates with, can only produce black and white. But what color does it breed with? Which color genes will their offspring carry? 2 black and white. But border grazing with the red gene, its descendants. Then there may be black and white and brown and white colors. And among these black and white puppies, some have red genes, some don't. Plus diluted genes. Involvement of trichromatic genes. In the same litter of puppies, it is normal for border grazing to appear in different shades. Anyway, we can't judge by the appearance. Does a border herd carry a certain gene? And the properties of its genes? It is impossible to trace the inheritance of its bloodline. Black and white may not necessarily give birth to all black and white. If you use one word to describe two-sided herds, what kind of puppy will be born? That is to open the blind box. What else? Breeding is not recommended between meteorite side grazing and meteorite side grazing because of the meteorite color. It's the dilution gene and the color mixing gene, product of double action, genetic instability. The offsprings are more susceptible to dilution, appearance of albino eye diseases, etc. But meteorite colors can be reproduced with black and white, brown and white. In addition, meteorite-colored border grazing allows blue eyes to appear. If other colors appear blue eyes, reproduction is not recommended because blue eyes are on other colors. It's a developmental defect, prone to eye diseases. Of course, about the color and reproduction of border grazing, it's not unexpected. And here's a table of how they breed. If you are interested, you can take a look. Golden Retriever, full name Golden Retriever. This is a hunting dog that was born in Scotland. So what is a hound? What is recovery? What is it about? Don't go away. This video will explain to you. Traces the birth of many modern dog breeds. I can't seem to get around England. And the Golden Retriever is no exception. Hunting has a long history in the UK. As entertainment for the royal family and the aristocracy, it's been around for hundreds of years. Therefore, it also gave rise to a wide variety of hunting dogs with different uses. In 1066, William, Duke of Normandy of France, led the invasion of England, occupied London in October of the same year. After being crowned King William I of England, the Norman dynasty was also established. Follow! The Norman hunting tradition was also brought to England. Early Norman dynasty. Hunting deer and wild boar. It's a special project for royalty and guests. But with the division of the land, the establishment of the feudal system, this privilege, it was also gradually granted to nobles and feudal lords. Hunting culture. So it became very popular in England. In the early days of hunting, it was mainly hunting elk and wild boar. The earliest hunting methods were riding and shooting, and supplemented by various types of hunting dogs. Bigger prey. It also gave birth to large bulldogs used for tracking and fighting. The deerhound was born in this context. Bloodhound. It was also brought into England during this period. Guards of hunting grounds and manors. The English Mastiff also developed in this context. And by the 16th century, with the development of agriculture and animal husbandry, forests are dwindling. Deer and wild boars are also gradually decreasing. Foxes and hares pose a growing threat to farms. Some farmers began to use hunting dogs to kill foxes. Hare. The pleasure of chasing makes it an ideal prey. 17th century Stuart dynasty. With the outbreak of the bourgeois revolution, the rise of the new bourgeoisie aristocracy, rapid economic development, the hunting wind is also more respected. People began to domesticate foxhounds and horses in large numbers. Fox hunting. It has also become a new way of leisure for the upper classes. A cunning fox. It requires the cooperation of hunters and hounds. Find the fox cave and drive it out, and then hunted by hounds following the scent. Hunters followed on horses. In this context, they gave birth to the pointer, the foxhound, the beagle, and all kinds of farming dogs. At the same time, greyhounds, used for rabbit hunting, are also gaining popularity in the UK. In the 1819th century, after the Industrial Revolution. With the development and improvement of shotguns, shooting birds has become more popular. Juvenile chickens and various waterfowl species become one of Britain's iconic prey. Hunters. At this time, a shuttle through the bushes and shallows is required. Dogs used to retrieve hit prey. In this context, round eaters, waterhounds begin to appear. Also, during this period, St. John's Water Spaniel, the ancestor of Labrador, was introduced to England. Our next protagonist, the Golden Retriever, was born during this period in Scotland. Hunting culture is both an aristocratic culture in England. It is also a British tradition that has been passed down to this day, and entertainment. It not only affected the development of dogs, it also gave birth to equestrian flying saucer shootings, archery, and other Olympic sports. At the same time, it leads the fashion frontier. All kinds of hunting gear, inherited the simplicity of the British countryside, also formed a unique British style. Speaking of the birth of the Golden Retriever, seems very prosaic. The story takes place in 1865. Brighton, a city in southern England. Marjorie Banks is walking down the street. A small dog sits on the floor made by a shoemaker, and I looked up at him. This is a puppy with golden fur. There was wisdom in his eyes. Mr. Marjorie Banks seems to see something in the puppy. So I bought it for a gold coin and named it Nis. Finally brought it to Scotland. Marjorie Banks. He later became Lord Twidmoss. He owns a large hunting dog farm in Scotland and domesticated many hounds. Rose's parents are two black roving dogs, and he is yellow. In the era of black dogs, Ross was lucky to be saved. Flat-hair retriever for St. John's Water Retrievers and Citadels, or an Irish Water Spaniel cross. But this flat-haired retriever, not now, often mistaken for a black golden retriever. It was an earlier curvy retriever. In 1868, Marjorie Banks used news, breeding with a Tweed Water Spaniel, got a few yellow puppies. These puppies were the original golden retrievers. These golden puppies were first bred, did not spread widely. It only spreads between families. Marjorie Banks' son got one of them, and he also owns a crimson Irish setter. This also explains why now you can see some crimson golden retrievers. In the years up to 1871, and this started producing more. To optimize dog breeds, Lord Marjorie Banks left only yellow puppies and excellent quality black puppies, and by constantly working with the Tweed Water Hound, crossing with the flat-haired tourist dog, to increase its mobility in the water and the characteristics of the hound, then this kind of activity can both occur on land. A sight and roving dog that can also hunt waterfowl in the water, gradually in various hunting grounds, and rose to prominence in aristocratic hunting. In the British Isles in the 1819th century, hunting birds was popular among the court nobles. But these nobles, while enjoying shooting birds, but unwilling to go into the mud and thorns to retrieve the prey, and it was used to find itinerant dogs of downed birds, be nurtured, and become the exclusive hound of the nobles. In 1890, Marjorie Banks died. His estate and kennel have also changed hands many times. But the golden retriever was preserved and gradually spread. In 1906, several golden retrievers, first appearance at a dog show in the UK. It is classified as group of curly or flat-haired touring hounds of other colors. In 1911, it was officially recognized as a species. It is described as a golden or yellow itinerant dog. In 1920, it was officially renamed the Golden Retriever. Subsequently, Golden Retrievers were brought to Canada, and the United States for hunting. 1920 and 1925. The United States and Canada have successively recognized the dog breed. In 1974, the Golden Retriever became the dog of U.S. President Gerald Ford, and these are the dogs that are beginning to enter the public consciousness. It's starting to spread. In 1997, with the release of the movie Buddy the Dog, a Golden Retriever named Buddy quickly went red. It's football, basketball, volleyball, baseball, housekeeping, and baby care are proficient in everything. Since then, 14 films in the series have been released. For a while, the Golden Retriever went global, the ideal dog for other significant families. So that's the story of the Golden Retriever. It is born of the cultivation of a family, and it ended up in thousands of homes. If you like this video, welcome to like and follow. You can also leave a message about the dog breed you are interested in the comment area. Thanks for watching. The story of Labrador and Newfoundland. The birth of a dog may have been a human accident, but it is also the inevitable result of the long river of history. When Columbus discovered the New World, after sending it back to Europe, countries are ready to move. 1497. Italian navigator John, funded by England, Cabot rediscovered Newfoundland. This is also after Viking. Europeans once again came to North America. Cabot made the same trip as his fellow Columbus. No spices or gold were found, but found another treasure, countless cods. After Cabot, hundreds of ships, England, France, Portuguese and Spanish fishing boats arrived. French fishermen were among the first to arrive. These fishermen, temporary bases were established on the island of Newfoundland. They brought their helpers, helped them take care of the base. A big dog pulling a fishing net. There are many different types of dogs. Some people think it's a great white bear dog brought by Basque fishermen, or a Pyrenees Mastiff. Others think it's a French Hubert hound. These big dogs brought by fishermen. It was originally used to haul fishing nets and boats, also used for coastal rescue. They weigh huge, able-bodied. During the hundreds of years from 1497 to 1603, these dogs breed in Newfoundland, a mix of local Beothuk dog breeds, and the genes of the Eskimo sled dog, developed into the current Newfoundland dog. This big dog with a gentle, strong, and loyal personality. 1603. A Frenchman named Saint-Prin arrived in North America. He went up the St. Lawrence River. Another animal was discovered, the beaver. Therefore, it also triggered a bloody trade that lasted for hundreds of years. Before that, interests of Europeans. It's just the countless cods in the waters of Newfoundland, and with the rise of France. Europeans' love for fur. The beaver is a small animal that made it onto the stage of history. Countless hunter fur traders, and their various hounds kept coming. In the movie Revere Hunter, mainly hunted is this animal. These hounds follow in the footsteps of their hunters, widely distributed in various colonies of North America. In long encounters with beavers and various prey, they have also developed their vigorous posture and flexible water. Some hunting dogs. This dog is mainly found in Newfoundland and the coastal areas of Labrador. This is the ancestor of the Labrador Retriever. St. John's Water Spaniel. Early St. John's had smaller ears, white hair on the chest and legs. From the appearance, it seems to be closer to the border herd. After 1800, ships departing from Labrador and began bringing these dogs to England. It was also in England. It's the Labrador that really develops. The name Labrador Retriever. Earliest. It was proposed by the Earl of Musbury in England. In a letter dated 1887, he wrote, "The first use of the term Labrador Retriever. Labrador Retrievers thrive in England. Second Earl of Mesbury, in the history of Labrador dog breeding, played an important role. The first St. John's Water Spaniels to land in England. Most of it is imported by it. And he was the one who built the first Labrador kennel. After coming to England, British, for Labrador's excellent hunting and swimming skills, impressed. And it became increasingly popular in hunting and shooting competitions. Gentlemen and nobles, also gradually using Labrador retrievers, replaced some other dog breeds. And in Newfoundland, the birthplace of Labrador, this dog, but because of the political factors of the development of local animal husbandry, limited number of farms, more stringent dog tax policies followed, caused the Labrador Retriever, almost extinct in Newfoundland. Early 19th century, England to prevent rabies from entering the country. Many import restrictions have been introduced. This has also led to Labrador Retrievers in England almost disappeared. Labrador Retriever of pure St. John's bloodline. Very, very few. Labrador Retriever, first recognized by the British Kennel Club in 1903, recognized the separate breeds of Labrador. In 1933, the 6th Earl of Mesbury introduced a few more St. Johns, so the lineage of the kennel is guaranteed. Although Labrador is in the UK, Newfoundland has hit a roadblock. However, in the United States on the other side of the ocean, gradually spread out. Labrador Retrievers were introduced to the United States. It was recognized by the American Kennel Club in 1917. After the First World War, more Labradors were introduced, eventually formed the current American variety. 1938. A black Labrador named Aiden Blind received the highest honor for the American Hound. She was on the cover of Life magazine. In 1959, another black Labrador, King Barker, was put on a U.S. postage stamp. Then Labrador became President Clinton of the United States and Russian President Vladimir Putin's dog. Labrador has 2 factions, 4 colors, and 6 types. What kind of dog does your dog owner belong to? Hey, don't go away. Welcome to the right seat. Labrador Retriever was introduced into England after 1800. They began to breed properly. In 1807, a brig named the Canton carried a shipment of St. John's dogs to England. However, unfortunately, the ship ran aground off the coast of Maryland. Only 2 puppies were found, one of the black ones, a chocolate color. From this record, it can also be concluded that early St. John's black and chocolate already exist. Early St. John's dogs were mainly black. Chocolate and yellow are also paint colors, but because chocolate and yellow are recessive genes, it's not genetically stable as black. So early Labradors, black is the dominant dog breed. Black Labrador also has better athletic ability and water quality. In the early days of dog racing, the referee also prefers black. In the early days of nurturing Labrador, yellow and chocolate are also artificially eliminated. Since records began, the first yellow Labrador was born in 1899. Then yellow and chocolate gradually emerge in some competitions. Racing dogs are no longer black. Labrador stands alone. After the First World War, people's aesthetics and acceptance have changed. Labrador has undergone nearly 100 years of development, also formed black, chocolate yellow beige for color lines, but due to the beige, it is seen as a dilution based on the yellow system. Labrador is nurtured to be more docile. They are also used as significant other dogs and guide dogs. And the black Labrador is, relatively speaking, it has a higher proportion of drug detection dogs and explosive detection dogs. In the historical breeding process of Labrador, different breeding standards also appeared in 6 different forms before World War II. Labrador ancestry is extremely confused. Breeding, and pedigree records. Also severely affected by World War II. 6 forms were described in 1915, based on a black Labrador, and proposed. Brittany type. This type is known as the English Labrador. Accepted standard type. He has a robust building and is streamlined. This name. It originated in France, which was called Little Britain, Brittany Peninsula, although this region belongs to France. But it's really British. So this type of Labrador, a more intuitive translation, would be called Britannia. The characteristics of this type of puffer fish, slightly shorter than the Brittany type, but the breasts are larger. Looks a little more delicate, slightly shorter. Donovan is a type that is slightly smaller than the blowfish, but it's more athletic, usually served as a hunting dog. This type is larger. In particular, the performance of the head and chest is more obvious. It is also commonly used in hunting and racing. Whitemore is smaller than other body types, but great athletic performance. The face is also slender, especially bitches. This type is the standard American type. They rate the pufferfish and the Brittany, slightly longer and thinner, more athletic ability. Of the 6 forms of Labrador, Brittany pufferfish Whitemore spread, more active in the exhibition, Donovan and maids, then more appear in the competition. There are 2 kinds of corgi, Pembroke Welsh corgi and the Cardigan Welsh corgi, although they are both called corgi. But they are 2 relatively independent dog breeds. But they also have one thing in common: short legs. Although the corgi was born in Wales. But look back at its history. Their ancestors followed in the footsteps of human civilization from Europe. In ancient European history, Celtic. It is a shared language and cultural tradition. Condensed loose group. They originated from the Seine in France, Upper Rhine region of the Danube in Germany. In a long historical period, they used to run amok in Europe and occupy the British Isles, conquered by the Romans. It also formed many kingdoms and tribes. This includes Wales, and followed the Celts from Europe, a dog that shares a common ancestor with the German dachshund, the very first corgi. Ancestors of the Cardigan Welsh corgi. The Celtic economy, mainly agriculture and animal husbandry. In Cardigan, Wales, near a village called Brownant, it has big hills. It is also the pasture of the Welsh people who live here, although the surrounding herders. Equal rights to grazing on public lands, but herders, or habitually circled their respective territories. So the corgis responsible for driving away the invaders became a necessity for herders. Own an excellent corgi. It's like owning a pasture. So the corgi became an important asset. They were bred for protection. This original corgi, also known as Browning corgi, after 1875, with the reform of the British land system, abolished the factory landing system. The movement of establishing land enclosures for private farms has developed rapidly. Large tracts of land near Brownham. It was sold to farmers. The appearance of wire fences makes corgis almost disappear. Corgi's job is to herd cattle. Unlike most shepherds, the corgi don't drive the cattle home. Instead, drive the invading herd farther away. The advent of the fence privatized the land. Different pastures are separated. The corgi have lost their usefulness. Instead of, it's a sheepdog that can drive a herd home. So the Australian cattle dog. The zebra cattle dog is also gradually replacing the corgi. The striped cattle dog shares the same personality as the corgi, relatively friendly. But it was not widely adopted, only used in southern Carlington. However, due to its unstable operating characteristics, also lacks the energy to graze. So people moved back to cattle dogs and corgis. These hybrids, and a few of the original corgis were left behind, became the cardigan of today, the ancestors of the Welsh corgi. In 1929, after the death of the last pure-blooded Browning corgi, the original Brownian corgi has disappeared. Later cardigan Welsh corgi, all are mixed races. Pembroke Welsh corgi, although similar in appearance to the cardigan Welsh corgi, but they were born in different regions. Two dogs breeds that developed relatively independently. Medieval England was famous for its wool production, particularly in Wales. After the Norman conquest, rapid urbanization in the UK. During the 11th century, several textile centers were formed. However, due to the limitations of the degree of development of the handicraft industry, most of the wool still exported to the Flanders region of mainland Europe. Due to Flanders and Italian textiles, monopoly of the British market, Britain began to bring in quality artisans to raise the level of the country's handicraft industry. So a large number of Flemish weavers started entering England and Wales. Certainly, they also brought in the video rights from Europe. While these weavers worked long hours, also constantly reclaiming the emperor, their dog, also interbred with the original Brownian corgi, formed today's Pembroke Welsh corgi and used it for grazing in the Pembroke area. Wales before the 19th century, cardigan and Pembroke. Because of the mountains, it's hard to get around. These two breeds of corgi have long been developed independently, also formed to varieties with different bloodlines. But by the end of the 19th century, with the development of transportation, the two places are also beginning to intertwine. So there are two types of corgis. At this stage, there was a chaotic interbreeding. There are also herders and breeders. They worked hard to keep their bloodline pure. 1925, Pembroke Welsh Corgi Club established. 1 year later, in 1926, the Cardigan Welsh Corgi Club was established. Although the two corgis are separate breeds, but at first, the Kennel Club did not recognize the two breeds. Also allows hybridization of two corgis. Until 1934, the Kennel Association just registered the two corgis separately. After Pembroke Welsh Corgi, chosen as a royal pet by the British royal family, it has also brought great fame to this breed. The following questions about corgi. There are several theories about the origin of the name corgi. One theory holds that the word corgi comes from the Celtic cancho. It means wolf or dog. The second theory is that it originated from the Welsh word corgi. Color. It means short. She means dog. And as language changes, she became bee, hence the name corgi. The third theory holds that the name corgi is given by cur dog or cur, derived from. Cur refers to a type of working dog. In a Welsh law codified in 920 AD, the records recognize three different watching dogs and significant other dogs. In 16th century documents, you can also find the word cocky, used to refer to a dog of the breed corgi. Pembroke Welsh corgis are usually two-tone. According to the depth, it is divided into red and white, yellow and white, brown and white, black and white, and engraved colors. The dominant color of the cardigan Welsh corgi is black meteorite color, tabby tricolor, and engraving. Also cardigan Welsh corgi. Any color can appear, with or without white, and cardigan will also appear red. There will be red and white or tricolor like Pembroke. But the vast majority of the dominant colors are black. In addition, Pembroke has longer hair, cardigan has shorter hair, and the hair is hard. Cardigan has more bone mass, longer body. Its body ratio is 1.8 to 1. More lowly. You look fatter. Bloomberg Rock in front of cardigan. The body shape will appear shorter and thicker. In addition, due to the fact that Bloomberg Rock has fox dog bloodlines, The face is more delicate, and cardigan looks even more simple and honest. Bloomberg Rock needs tail docking. Cardigan doesn't need eggs. That is, it is usually said that the one with the tail is the cardigan. The one without the tail is the fluffy rock. Why did Pembroke have his tail docked? There are mainly the following for claims. The first theory is climate. Pembroke for the rainy mountains. The working environment of corgis is relatively muddy. If the tail is too long, it will be covered with a lot of silt. It is easy to breed germs and cause unfinished tails. The cardigan region is relatively dry. You don't have to worry about that. The second argument is the problem of cattle ranching. Pembroke was herding cattle. A tail that is too long can be easily stepped on by a cow and cause damage. Carrigan's movements are relatively dexterous. Don't worry about being stepped on, but it's not very convincing, because from bone mass to body structure, Carrigan on motor flexibility, no better than Pembroke. The third theory is that the early pastoralists, in order to maintain the purity of the bloodline of the two dog breeds, it is easier to distinguish between the two types of dogs, choose to make the bones thicker. The larger cardigan never ends, and for the more compact Pembroke, progressive ranking. Therefore, two dog breeds were formed. Intuitive differences in appearance established the original canine breeding standard style, so you can tell them apart at a glance. The fourth theory is similar to the third, today's dog race. Due to the tendency of different aesthetic standards, it is also easier to distinguish between dog breeds, so as to tail Pembroke. This statement, just a matter of the early and present timelines. And the third kind of distinction applies to pastures. The fourth distinction applies to today's game. Combine the above for statements. The third and fourth types seems more in line with the reasons for the modern Pembroke docking. The Bichon is also known as the Babe Bichon. The official name is the Curly Bichon. English name Bichon Frise. The word Bichon comes from Middle French. It means long-haired dog. It originally referred to a characteristic type of dog, not a single dog breed. Bichon dogs in a broad sense, including Maltese Tenerife, Bologna Dog, Havana Two-Liar Fluff, and the European Little Lion Dog Laukin, and Bichon as we know it. It's actually the Tenerife of the Bichon family. They are a kind of small dogs native to the Mediterranean coast. Their history. It can be traced back to more than 3,000 years ago. Their story. We have the oldest winning dog in Europe, Maltese dog speaking. In the Eastern Mediterranean more than 3,000 years ago, there's people living there. They are good at sailing and doing business. They are called Fijians. Fijian fleets crossed the Mediterranean Sea. The island of Malta in the heart of the Mediterranean. It became an important trading hub for Fijians. They came with the Fijians. There is also a white puppy. At first they served as guards for merchant shipping warehouses, responsible for catching mice. After several breeding, these puppies are gradually growing in Malta, develop into a unique dog breed. This is the original Maltese. Fijians in their heyday. Not only does it control the entire Mediterranean route, it also established many colonies along the coast. They're Maltese. Also in Spain, Portugal, widely distributed in Italy, North Africa, and other places. Around 300 AD, the Finnegas disappeared completely from the stage of history, but their white puppies are shining brightly in Europe. After they entered Europe, become a pet of the upper class such as the princes and nobles of various countries. In the ruins of ancient Rome, Greece, and Egypt, they have also been found. In ancient Egypt, they were called Meridas. White back hair. It was also considered a sacred symbol by the Egyptians. 55 BC, Maltese dogs were introduced to England with the Roman army. Afterwards, it was even more loved by the British aristocracy. Before the Middle Ages, they've always been around the European aristocracy, a significant other dog. The civilizations of ancient Europe originated from the sea. Portugal, Spain, Italy, Netherlands, United Kingdom. For hundreds of years, one powerful country after another has stepped onto the stage of history. Their fleet galloped the sea. The white puppies by their side also changed sea voyages with them. These little dogs that follow the ships around, due to its popularity, often traded by seafarers. It has even become a bargaining chip for exchange. This also prompts them to spread more widely. Then Spanish sailors introduced reproductive techniques in its overseas territories of Tenerife in the Canary Islands, breeding the dog. These puppies also developed another group here. 14th century. Italian sailors brought them back to the mainland again. Subsequently, became the most popular dog breed among the Italian court nobles. These puppies are developing. Also fuses with water hounds. Formed a new breed of white curly hair. Make it look softer and cuter. So this is the modern Bichon, and the prototype of the Bolognese dog. 16th century French invasion of Italy, and put these white velvet puppies, brought back to France as a trophy. Then he succeeded in capturing the French royal family and the heart of a noble lady. It was further bred and developed in France, due to its resemblance to the French Babette Water Spaniel. Therefore, it was named the Babe Bear dog, later known as the Bichon dog. This is the Tenerife bear. That is, the origin of the Bichon dog we usually refer to. During the development of these dogs in France, fusion with the French Water Spaniel also formed another multicolored mixed puppy. Due to its appearance, it is often trimmed to the shape of a lion. This is the Lawson dog known as the European lion dog. Europe in the 15th and 17th centuries unleashed a huge change. The person who initiated this change, his name was Marco Polo. It was also a country that caused this change. It's China. Marco Polo, in his travelogue, described China as a country full of gold. After the 13th century, the rise of the Ottoman Turkish Empire blocked the way of communication between the East and the West. A desperate thirst for golden porcelain and spices prompted Europeans to set up the sails, blaze a new path, seeking China from the sea, seeking India, looking for gold and spices. And these fluffy white puppies also set out with the sailors again, facing the sea route. Turbid waves bloom with the wind. Madagascar in Africa, the descendants of these white Bichon dogs here developed the Turiel wool dog. In Cuba, they developed into Havana dogs. They and their descendants, widely distributed along the era of great navigation, seas and islands. It also revived the European dog population after the later cataclysm. Provides tinder. 3,000 years ago, the ancestors of Bichon followed the Fijians to Marta Island. They multiply here, also from watching small guard dogs that catch mice in warehouses. Became the first pet dog in Europe. Also started a 1,000-year career of acting cute. Ancient Europeans believed the Snow White Maltese can soothe people, heal the pain, put them in an uncomfortable place, can relieve symptoms. After being introduced to Europe, they effortlessly captured countless monarchs and emperors, and the love of princes and nobles. Become a pet of the upper class, a symbol of power and status. After reaching the UK, Maltese dogs are more popular. During the time of Henry VIII, He has become a traffic star in the British Isles, the beloved puppy of the court lady and the royal lady. It is said that when Mary I, Queen of Scots, when he was executed in 1587, pet dogs who still insist on staying by their side, Maltese. This also explains that the Maltese dog, a situation widely loved by high societies in ancient Europe. Maltese is gentle and well-behaved, coquettish and hospitable. Snow-white silky long hair, lively and lovely personality, especially good at using a pair of innocent big eyes to capture hearts and minds. In 1,000 years of reproduction, it can be said that the trait of acting cute is engraved into the genes. Technically acting cute, a step up from Maltese. It's a Tenerife. That's the Bichon retriever. After the Bichon was introduced to France, King Henry III fell in love with this dog at first sight. He takes his dog with him wherever he goes. He also tied a beautiful butterfly around his dog's neck. After seeing it, other princes, nobles, and commoners, he also dressed his dog like a king. This makes the Bichon look even more heroic. In Spain, it was also loved by the court nobles and became the master of art Francisco Goya, models in paintings. On a voyage with sailors, the small and cute Bichon dog is also cute all the way. Sailors in the Philippines, Cuba, and Argentina along the way, and the Canary Islands, when saying goodbye to a local lover, the usual situation is the girls were holding their Bichon dogs in tears. These popular Bichon dogs, so they stayed and proliferated along the way. A trick from the Bichon, bye. It can also be said to eat all over the world, tried and tested. Late 18th century. The decline of the European feudal aristocracy. The Bichon also declined to become a civilian dog. Start following the down and out owner and street performers sleeping on the streets. They are also being trained at this time. Learn the gesture of goodbye to please passers, bye, act cute and beg. They not only support themselves with this trick, it feeds its owner. Then the Bichon was founded by the circus. Become a juggling star. This also makes them similar to poodles, being known by the world. How many ways to act cute? How many kinds of Bichon dogs are there? On the road to acting cute, the Bologna and the Lion Laucan take a different approach. It has captured the hearts of many people by relying on its shape. In the courts of Italy, they are often trimmed to look like lions. This formidable form, with their quirky personalities, he was also a popular star in the court at the time. In addition to the soft and cute personality, silky, soft, long hair, it becomes a tool for them to please people. Soft and waxy feeling. It can be said to be a rather handy decompression tool. Marcus has long, silky hair. Bologna has wavy, curly, straight hair. Tenerife bearing with soft and stiff spiral curls, like a snow-white doll. Turiel fluffy dog. Body hair is soft and delicate. Therefore, it is also known as the cotton veil dog. Faunts and Havanas in the Bichon family. Only these two dogs are non-white breeds. Although the collapse of feudalism in Europe and the catastrophe of the 20th century almost wiped out these cute white dogs, but they've come from a long history, again and again. It has soothed the soft hearts of generations of masters. When a pair of big innocent eyes stares at you, who could refuse? 10,000 years ago, a group of people living in western Iran, herders near the Zagros Mountains. Sheep were the first animals to be domesticated. At the same time, Some dogs that were domesticated early to help humans hunt, also trained, became the first livestock dogs to protect herds. Thereafter, these nomadic groups spread westward into Europe. They traveled along the Danube and the Rhine, arrived in what is now Germany, France, the Netherlands, and other places. While they brought nomadic life to Europe, it also introduced another habit, training the sheepdog. In the long years that followed, in different regions with different climates and environments, a wide variety of sheepdogs were also born. Germany before 1890. All dogs used for herding and protecting sheep. All are collectively referred to as German Shepherds. They don't have a standard look. It's not a specific species. It's a category that's entirely based on ability to work. In 1890, with the rise of German nationalism, impact on social institutions, some people started trying to bridge the gap, standardize these dog breeds. Therefore, in 1891, the first association to breed German native shepherd dogs established, but in the direction of cultivation. Some of their members believed that it should be work-oriented. Other members felt that appearance should be the standard. Due to internal contradictions, the association was dissolved in 1894. But this contradiction, it also buried the seeds of the debate between the right to work and the right to expose. 5 years later, in 1899, a member of a money association that advocates for the purpose of working, von Stephanus, when participating in a full exhibition, found a dog named Hector Lindsay. It has all the working dogs, required conditions, and appearance. Stephanie bought the dog and renamed it Holland von Gravesis. Same year, Stephanus founded the German Shepherd Dog Association. Holland was announced as registered, becoming the world's first German Shepherd dog. Holland. It's a shepherd dog from Thuringia, Germany. The state is famous for its gray wolf-like, sharp-eared dogs. Holland is also a descendant of the state's champion dog. Von Stephanus used Holland as a sample, develop a breeding plan, and with the roots from touring, Franken, breeding dogs with desirable characteristics in Fortenberg, and inbreeding with its offspring, created the current German Shepherd. Until today, all German Shepherds. It's also in Holland's genes. In the decades that followed, the breed quickly became the most popular in the world, the largest number of working dogs, and it's a position that it still holds today. In Stephanus, after naming the breed German Shepherd, all dogs commonly known as German Shepherds, also known as the Old German Shepherd. Von Stephanus died in 1936, and his German Shepherd. And then there was real greatness. In the first half of the last century, the rise of German militarism. This breed is due to its excellent working ability and its resemblance to wolves. It became very popular and began to be conscripted into the army as military dogs. Throughout World War I, nearly 10,000 German Shepherds served in the German army. These military dogs play an important role in combat. They are trained to be vigilant, guard communications, and other abilities to assist humans in their fight. After the First World War, influenced by anti-German sentiment, people think the word Germany would damage the popularity of this breed. So the British Kennel Association, the German Shepherd, was officially renamed Alsatian Wolfhound. The Alsace region is a disputed territory of Germany and France. After World War I, France recaptured it. Germany reoccupied during World War II. After the war, it was reclassified as France. The name change did not affect the popularity of the German Shepherd in the slightest. Due to the important role played by military dogs in World War I and outstanding performance, countries have also begun to develop military dogs, and their breed of choice is the German Shepherd. During World War II, this dog breed shines because of one person, but it also casts a terrifying shadow over him. This man is Adolf Hitler. He has a great affection for German Shepherds. Throughout World War II, the Germans recruited 200,000 trained dogs. The vast majority of them are German Shepherds. They traveled the battlefield delivering letters and ammunition. Stand guard. Exceptional ability to survive in harsh environments, and the ability to track obstacles and search also made him a Nazi concentration camp. Guardians of terror. In the Asian battlefield, Japan lost control of its allies, the Germans. They took over about 25,000 German Shepherds. These dogs are tolerated by criminal militarism. It has also caused great harm to countless innocent people. In the middle decades of the last century, it even became a gangster in many countries at one point, the evil accomplice of drug traffickers. It is listed as a dangerous breed and prohibited from breeding. Imports are also banned in many countries. As the clouds of war dissipate, many German Shepherds are returning to pastures, and they're starting to get trained by police forces in many countries, used as an anti-drug search and explosion and a guard dog. Before Labrador was widely used, they were also the first guide dogs. Those who are close to you are red, and those who are close to ink are black. The image of a dog also depends on the person. German Shepherds have also been around for decades. It has gradually become synonymous with military police dogs. By 1977, the British Kennel Association introduced the breeding, from the Alsatian Wolfhound back to German Shepherd again. Tough and handsome police dog shape. It also made him the embodiment of justice. In countless film and television works, their robust figures. It has also become the dream dog of countless families. Let me ask you something. In whose childhood never dreamed of owning a German Shepherd? Born in 1899, under the great promotion of von Stephanus, it took more than a decade to develop rapidly. He recommended the German Shepherd to the police and the army, established breeding and training bases. In the subsequent First World War, started to emerge as a military dog. The German Shepherd at this time is entirely trained for the purpose of work. That's the number one metric by which it's measured. Their color is also black. Wolf blue, black, and red mixed colors are available. During World War II, the development of German Shepherds has reached its peak. Hitler, as a fanatic of the German Shepherd, also a former member of the German Shepherd Dog Association, developed the preferred breeding standard plan for military dogs, established a military dog breeding training base, began to vigorously develop German herding. The German Shepherd at this time still keep von Stephanus standards for German Shepherds. World War II. In the German Army, there are over 200,000 well-trained German Shepherds. This is the first peak of the development of German Shepherds. It's the beginning of differentiation. After World War II, Germany was divided into East and West Germany. The Federal Republic of Germany, also known as West Germany, implementing the capitalist system. GDR. East Germany had a socialist system. These German Shepherds. It was as popular in East Germany as it was in West Germany. But with the onset of the Cold War, buildings of the Berlin Wall, free trade between East and West Germany was terminated. East German Shepherd Dog. It also began more than 40 years of closed cultivation. The GDR government solicited national German Shepherds for strict screening, establishment of a breeding office, prescribed evaluation criteria. All foreign dogs are prohibited from affecting their bloodline. In 1955, the Soviet Union in Czechoslovakia established a border patrol dog breeding base. This base It is a standard breeding plan based on the preferred breeding of military dogs to breed and train German Shepherds. They also carried on the earliest German pastoral characteristics. Most of these German Shepherds were used as military dogs, patrol the Berlin Wall. They have also undergone rigorous selection and training, also because of the abbreviation of the German Democratic Republic. Later, these German Shepherds from East Germany, called DDR in the 1950s. China also moved from the former Soviet Union and East Germany, introduced a batch of German Shepherds. These dogs became the first batch of military dogs in New China. This is also the breeding and development of Chinese military dogs, leaving seeds. This is DDR, the origins of the East German Shepherd dog in early China. Compared to the strict and cruel breeding in East Germany, the West German Sheepdog is again going towards differentiation, without the demands and constraints of the state and the military. The different breeding concepts within the association. Two strains of display line and working line were differentiated. Working line West German Shepherd dog breeding. Very picky too. Selecting highly capable dogs for breeding. These dogs are also generally physically strong and exercise a lot, and most of them are very aggressive. These dogs are also widely exported. It has become the first choice for many national police dogs. Display West German Shepherd dogs is more inclined to the cultivation of appearance. Focus on a streamlined body. The appearance of working dogs is more lean and compact. The coat color is mainly dark, mostly blue-black or black-based two-color, and pure black. Dogs that show their sight have more bone mass. Rich back hair. The coat color is mainly black, red, black, and brown. In the pursuit of streamlining and forming, gradually began to show the characteristics of the arched back. From 1937, it can be seen in the previous famous dog atlases in 2006. This feature has been around since 1956, and then it became clear. It has been hard to find traces of its peers. Different needs determine different cultivation standards. There is a reason to exist. We don't judge good or bad, although it has been criticized by many experts for its variety degradation and genetic disorders of the hip. But the expressive German Shepherd was also known for his gentle personality, became the ideal choice for many ordinary German Shepherd-loving families. In the 1970s and 1980s, the police dog industry in our country has ushered in development. Start training border guard dogs as criminal investigation dogs. However, differences in the working environment and an overly aggressive personality. It also caused a lot of inconvenience when it came to the police, due to changes in the international situation. Since the 1980s, Chinese police dog experts turned to West Germany for inspection. Will be fierce and agile, but obedience works better in line with West German Shepherds. Introducing China. These German Shepherds replenished two various army police dog bases. From now on, they also started giving Chinese German Shepherd enthusiasts left an unforgettable impression. In 1990, the Berlin Wall came down. Unity of East and West Germany. A sheepdog from East Germany, blended with the West German working line sheepdog, developed into the current working line German Shepherd. The name DDR is also gradually disappearing in the fusion, left to those who love the German Shepherd unlimited reverie. But in the origin of DDR, the purest of these early German Shepherds, in the midst of great change and instability, with the great changes in Eastern Europe and the collapse of the Soviet Union, Czechoslovakia was also divided into two countries. Czech Republic inherited a border patrol dog breeding base, although these dogs are now very rare, but it retains the purest German pastoral characteristics. Here it is, the Jack Department, which is deeply sought after by German Shepherd enthusiasts. German Shepherd. Since World War I, German Shepherds are widely used as military and police puppies under the breeding standards of different countries. Also formed the Belgian department, the Dutch department, and the Danish department, and British Alsatian Americans and other strains. In Eastern Europe, Switzerland, the United States, and other regions. They also developed into different standard German Shepherds. Eastern European Sheepdog, early 20th century, with a German Shepherd. Fame in World War I. European countries have begun to introduce and develop military dogs. Around 1920, the former Soviet Union sent a batch of German Shepherds, imports into the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic, and developed a breeding program there. The goal is to cultivate this variety, adapting to the colder and harsher climate of the Soviet Union. After decades of breeding, one that's bigger and healthier, the German Shepherd with thicker back hair was born. These dogs were widely used by the Soviet Army and police, and the KGB's favorite. They are much bigger than German Shepherds. Shoulder height is usually around 70 centimeters. The color is also mainly dark brown engraved or pure black. Since 1950, they have been named Eastern European Sheepdogs. In 1955, the Soviet Ministry of Defense approved the breeding standards. 1960 for Service Dog Breeding Federation approves breeding standards. In 2017, he was recognized by the Nordic Kennel Alliance. It was subsequently recognized by Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Sweden. Taunt the Sheepdog. This is a kind of variants of German Shepherds raised in the United States. In the 1970s and 1980s, the German Shepherd dog is in the process of development, gradually began to pursue the characteristics of the arched back and streamlined sloping curves to correct the behavior and structure of modern German Shepherds and hip health problems. The Shiloh Sheepdog was bred. This is also a large-scale German Shepherd. Medium back hair. Colors are black, tan, gold, silver, and a variety of colors such as cream dark gray sable. Appearance. They ray also more like a cross between the German Shepherd and Alaska. In 1991, it was recognized by the American Rare Breeding Association, become an independent dog breed. King Shepherd, also known as King Shepherd. It is also a German Shepherd dog variant bred in the United States. Its purpose was also to correct the primitive German Shepherds' emerging structural problems. It is based on the German Shepherd, mixed in Alaska. A breed born from the genes of the Great White Bear Dog is a large, long-haired German Shepherd. Its color is close to that of the German Shepherd, including brown, black, brown, gray, and other colors. It began to appear in 1995. Then it was recognized by the American Rare Breeding Association, become an independent dog breed. White Shepherd. It is also a kind of variants of German Shepherds raised in the United States around 1891. The beginning of the unified standard breeding of German Shepherds. The white German Shepherd already exists in the Thuringia region of Germany, except for black and wolf blue. There are also a small number of white varieties, but in Germany, white is considered undesirable. In America, the white German Shepherd was loved by some people. The White German Shepherd Club was established in 1969 and call it a white sheepdog. In 1993, white German Shepherds were banned from registering in Germany. But in 1999, it was recognized by the United Kennel Association of America, become an independent dog breed. White Swiss Shepherd. This is a kind of German Shepherd breeds homologous to white Shepherds. 1966. A batch of white sheepdogs was exported from the United States to Switzerland. After that, another batch was imported from Canada, one after another. Then this dog began to be bred and developed in Switzerland. In 1991, it was recognized by the Swiss Sheepdog Association, recognized by the World Kennel Federation in 2011, accredited by the British Kennel Association in 2017. The German Shepherd as the king of working dogs. During its development, due to the high demand for workability, military breeding bases in the former Soviet Union, a secret variant upgrade project. It's going on quietly. And therefore, an unforgettable alternative was born.